We've all been told that these rules are the path to wealth, but even Kiplinger says that these money rules don't work anymore. So in this video, I'm going to test each one so that you can see what actually builds wealth and stop being held back by outdated financial advice. Let's get into it. Rule number 1, buy a house because renting is throwing money away. Okay, so we have 2 condos, one for rent and one for sale. They're both located in North Park, San Diego. They're both updated. They have similar square footage and amenities. So let's run the numbers. The price to buy is $1.25 million. Average mortgage rate today is about 6.5%, and we'll run a 20% down payment and a 5% down payment scenarios. Here's everything that goes into the mortgage payment. And at 20%, we're looking at $8,000 a month. At 5%, we're paying about $9,200 a month. Except that I forgot that if your down payment is less than 20%, you'll be paying PMI until you're at 20%. So that's an additional $748 a month, according to Redfin, which takes the payment to almost $10,000 a month. Just out of curiosity, let's see if we bought this condo during COVID with a 2.5 mortgage rate. It does take us down quite a bit, but payments in both scenarios are still prohibitively high. All right, if we rent, $37.95 is our monthly payment. Your rent is likely going to increase by about 5% every year. But if you bought a property, your home's assessed value will increase, which means the taxes you're paying on your property will probably increase by 1 to 2% as well. Plus, if you're owning your condo, there's going to be additional expenses like maintenance. So neither monthly payment will be a locked-in number and will continue increasing every year. But for the purposes of keeping the calculations simple, I'm going to leave that out. So we'll use the 20% down payment, and here's our mortgage payment using that 20% down payment scenario. Here's our starting equity and home annual appreciation at 3%. On the other side, we have our rent payment, and we're going to invest the difference between the mortgage and the rent, which is about $4,200. So our starting portfolio will be 0, and our annual return will assume at 8%. After 30 years, our property value is just over $3 million, but our portfolio grew to more than double that amount, and that's after we've paid rent on a pretty expensive San Diego condo. And here's another thing. After you've paid off your loan, you're still looking at about $1,600 a month in taxes, insurance, and HOA. That payment will never go away completely. So buying is not always the best use of your money, and this example shows that real estate as an investment grows slower than the broad market. So the lesson here is always run the numbers and don't blindly follow anyone's advice. Old money rule number 2 is to protect your money with safe investments. For decades, the finance industry and traditional advisors pushed CDs, savings accounts, and annuities as the safe path for your money. Financial advisors made investing feel complicated, expensive, and intimidating. It was designed to keep ordinary people dependent on them. Following that advice often meant that a chunk of your money barely kept up with inflation while the cost of living kept rising. But the world has changed, and today's safe doesn't mean stagnant. Keeping your money in CDs, savings, and annuities with the average 4% return only outpaces inflation by about 1%. But as we rely more and more on data, we can safely assume stock market can generate 8% returns if invested for the long term. Your portfolio growing at 8% after adjustment for inflation can generate a 5% return. And to shield your money from market risks, there are now investment options like bond indexes and balanced funds that will generate higher returns than CDs and annuities without exposing your money to market risks. So if I were to draw 2 main differences between the old and the new, it's these. Number 1, widely accessible financial education. And I don't mean college or any formal classroom education. What I mean is the internet is full of everything you need to know. So the best thing you can do for yourself is to educate yourself on the types of investment options available, the risks and benefits, investment strategies that you should know and follow by age, and legal tax hacks so that you can keep more of your money. And the second main difference is that now you can easily open your own brokerage account without an advisor, pick from the many platforms that are available, and manage your own money, something that was not as widely accessible 20 or 30 years ago. If you're interested in DIYing your own financial advice, download the free guide that I linked below. I break down all the areas a financial advisor would help you with and provide guidance on how to craft your own portfolio and what to do during different market ups and downs. If you're interested in watching the full video where I go over that guide, I'll link it up here as well. Old rule number 3 is to save for retirement, and that too doesn't work anymore. There used to be a rule of thumb: save 10% of your paycheck and you'll have enough in your retirement. If we take average US salary of $60,000, invest 10% starting at 30, by the time you're 65, you'll just have over $1 million. Now that's year 2040 or 2050, and the cost of living has been rising. So even assuming a 3% inflation, it eats into your 8% returns, and that number will be closer to $500,000 to fund 30 years of retirement. Maintaining the same level of income at $60,000, this amount will last you about 11 years until you run out. The math doesn't add up, so we are forced to be creative. Millennials and Gen Z are looking at the wealth formula and dialing in all the levers: returns, capital, and time. When it comes to returns, having seen 3 major recessions, our risk tolerance is much higher. So we're walking away from the safe, low return investments and investing in broad market or balanced funds to get those higher returns. When it comes to capital, according to NASDAQ research, more than half of millennials in the US work some type of side hustle to supplement their income. People are also smarter about tax strategies offered by different investment tools and are able to keep more of their money, which also increases the amount of their invested capital. And when it comes to time, more and more people realize that they wish they'd started investing earlier. So while we may have missed the easiest way to take advantage of compounding ourselves, we're taking full advantage of doing all of the above for our kids with investing in their 529 college funds and then doing a Roth conversion to set them up with a launching pad we didn't have. And last rule number 4, is to get a stable job and stick to it. This is the last piece of the puzzle, and it's that loyalty is no longer what employers are rewarding, and stability and security is far less common and guaranteed with layoffs and outsourcing happening across all industries. According to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, workers who switch jobs earn about 7 to 10% more than those who stay put. Projected over a career, that difference adds up. On a $60,000 salary, staying loyal nets about $4.5 million over 40 years. If you're switching jobs every few years, that's closer to $7.6 million. That's over $3 million in opportunity cost just by staying in one place. So in today's world, skills that are highly in demand are what drive real salary growth and what give you options when layoffs and outsourcing hits. Though old advice says that security comes from staying loyal to one company, but the reality is security now comes from having the skills and income that you can control. So there you go. Kiplinger was spot on. These 4 rules don't stand the test of time. And at the end of the day, wealth isn't built by following outdated money rules. It's built by running the numbers, questioning old advice, and most importantly, continuing to learn and keeping money a normal part of the conversation so that people around you and the next generation specifically can build skills faster, avoid mistakes that we had to learn the hard way, and see money as something we can openly grow together. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment with a question for the next video. It will help me make more content that you enjoy. Thanks again for watching. I'll see you in the next video.